That's what Nancy Pelosi's doing, flying around having a ball, ladies and gentlemen. This is Drew Malone Reigns III. This is a Marines Disquisition, and we're heard live around the world from Sochi, Russia, Kasan, Russia, to the 6 counties of Northern Ireland, all the way down to New Zealand and the outback of Australia, all points in between, in every clime, in every place. There are Marines out there everywhere. Now, ladies and gentlemen, many of you heard Bob talking in the background because we're still working on our microphone feeds and trying to get the show back up to snuff. Mr. Chapman, welcome back to the show, and we left off. We had to interrupt you with that last question, and hopefully you can come forth and bring a good presentation for us. Please, sir.
Well, I think you better repeat the question if that's possible.
Oh my gosh, I've already deleted all that. I've already deleted that.
What happens is I get distracted in between because I get so much work to do here, and stuff keeps flowing in from all over the world, and I take every single second to do that. But anyway, well, let's just go on to the next one, and we apologize.
We apologize.
Set it back in again.
Yeah, send it back in again. That's what I'm asking. If you send it back in, we'll appreciate it. We have a new listener out there that was in the chat room asking a question about. I have relatives in Mexico and relatives in Canada. Should I be asking them to purchase gold and silver?
Absolutely. And in Canada, you have the series of gold coins. They're maple leafs, and there's many places you can buy them, banks, coin dealers. And in Mexico, the coin dealers don't have many coins anymore. You have to go to a dealer, and usually in a larger city like Mexico City or Monterrey or Guadalajara and places like that. But they are available, the centenarios, both in 1.22 ounces and also fractional pieces, and the same thing in Canada. And encourage them to do that.
Mr. Chapman, there are 10 states looming with budget cuts out there that are having major problems. My question is, with California's ongoing physical crisis attracting such a national attention, what about the states of Arizona, Florida, and Illinois, Michigan, especially Michigan and Nevada? Are there problems in those states are going to must escalate to places like here in Florida or here in the coastlines of New Mexico? Coastlines of the Mexican Gulf, I'm sorry.
Well, let's put it this way. There are some areas where the house prices are going to go down another 30%. There are some areas where they'll go down another 20%. There's areas that haven't gone down that'll go down 10 or 15 or 20%. This is not over. House prices are going to continue downward, except the only place I know that they bottomed out is in the Gulf Coast of Florida. I think they're as low as they're going to get. And so they're going to continue to go down. The housing industry is beset by enormous inventory, builders that keep on building. Now they've given an $8,000 credit to everybody who hasn't had a home owned a home in the last 3 years to try to clear the inventory out. It's going to help, but it's not going to work. We still have Alta loans, which are loans to people with 650 FOICs. They'll be going probably into next year. We have pick and pay loans, which are option arm loans that we've got another 3.5 years to go on. We have people who had high FOICs of 850 and 800, good jobs making 100, 200, 300,000 a year. These people are losing their homes because they're being laid off. And so this is not going to end as we know it until at least 2013. And the federal government, through Fannie and Freddie and Ginnie and FHA, are making subprime loans again. They've been doing it for a year. And they're going to keep on doing it. And at the end of next year, they're going to start getting 60% of these loans back. And we're going to have a subprime crisis all over again. That just shows you how intelligent they are. So there's little hope for real estate to hit a bottom before 2013. And even if it bottomed there, it could be 5 to 50 years before they ever went up again. So if you're going to buy a house, you better wait.
We have a caller online from Colorado. I think it's Colorado Al. Your question, and then we have another caller online right after that. So, Colorado Al, you have a question for Mr. Chapman.
Yeah, I guess, Bob, you didn't, of the millions of emails you get every day, you didn't see my little tirade about the shortage of gold. I believe the gold is in the central bank's vaults or in their depositories, Bob. I don't believe there's a shortage at all. I believe they're hoarding. Do you disagree with me?
Absolutely. They've been selling since 1988. In fact, they started selling in the second week of October illegally in 1987 when the market was collapsing, because I was there when they were selling it.
So you're saying
they knocked the gold down $100 in a day. Now, they've been selling gold, collectively, the central banks, for 20 years.
So
some of them have none, some of them have a little,
okay.
And I don't think the United States government has any.
Well, I think Fort Knox is nothing but a hole in the ground with lead bars in it, is what I think. But my understanding was, and you've corrected me, that the central banks were hoarding everything. They've been selling stuff that they don't have, haven't they?
Yes, that's true, unfortunately. And they've been leasing gold, and holding it on the books is still having it. When you lease gold, it goes to a bullion bank like J.P. Morgan Chase, who in turn sells it immediately and takes the money and gambles with it.
Where is it all in
India? And then they pay the bank back in dollars, not in gold. So they're carrying gold in the books that doesn't exist.
But where is the physical gold? Have the Indians turned it all into jewelry, or is it has to go somewhere? It just didn't go into thin air, did it?
1/3 goes to India, and they own 1/3. 1/3 goes to the remainder of the world, and somewhere between 0 and 1/3 is what the insiders own. The Illuminati, the people who belong to the Bilderberger Group and the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission, they've been accumulating it, like the people who listen to this program have.
Okay, well, then I stand corrected. Thank you for having me, Bob and Drew.
Listen anytime, and believe me, that kind of a question is excellent because it clears away misconception.
That's all I needed to know. You've cleared it up.
Outstanding. And that brings up an IM question before I bring this next caller in. We have a former United States Army Master Sergeant who is IM'd to advise us for FYI. Mr. Raines, you need to know that there is gold in Fort Knox, but is it our gold? Many times as the commanding officer of one unit, I was present when Chinese as well as Indians came forth to Fort Knox privy to look at the gold. Now, was it our gold that they were looking at and the guarding the positions of guard around the base, or were they there inspecting their gold?
It's your guess as good as mine. I don't know. All I know is that the U.S. has been seller for a long time, and they're the only people that have coin melt, which is about 88 to 90% pure. And for good delivery, you need 99% pure or something close to that. And so I've seen in the last 2 years lots of this coin melt being delivered for gold contracts. So I know that the U.S. is a seller. Now the question is, how much do they have? Who does the gold in Fort Knox belong to? Who does the gold in the Federal Reserve vaults under the streets of New York belong to? Who does the gold at West Point belong to? You know, the Germans tried to get their gold back about 4 months ago, and the U.S. told them to take a hike. Is it because they already sold it? I don't know. Incidentally, Master Sergeant, how long ago was it that these visitors went to Fort Knox and viewed the gold?
Okay, and we'll let the Master Sergeant come back and answer that question. We have a caller online, and caller, I can't recognize your number as it is blank, so come in here and ask your question. The Master's back in and says, 2 years ago, last month, sir. Mr. Chapman, did you hear that? Did you hear that question?
Yes, I did, and I'm asking, was it a considerable amount of gold there?